NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? I hope you're all right. Why is that, Jim? Well, you should be going okay. It's only Tuesday. It's fine. Tuesday, March 11. I'm your host, James Clements. I'm here in Larry Armour Studios. It's too damn hot, and the rent's too high. I'll tell you. I am absolutely just... The boys are swimming. It is brutal today. Anyway, the biggest news out of today, obviously, we're going to cover on NBA Straya. The NBA is coming to Australia. That is awesome news. We'll talk about that in a second. Josh Giddey got injured. Oh, no. But he might be okay. Question mark. The Nuggets got a bit of revenge. We had a chaotic, awesome day in the association. So we'll break all that down in the NBA Straya game wraps. We've got all the awards, the daily awards. We've got That's Not a Knife, Old Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Better Than Lonzo Ball. We've got a couple of really good nahs. We've got the Unpopular Opinion of the Day and OUTBACK Takehouse, where we're serving up a flame-grilled take. And then, of course, there's been a lot of excellence. So we've got Andrew Gay's Grey Mumber Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence, as well as a Shane Hill Shoot Your Shot, Light 'em Up Award, because there's just a lot going on, and we're going to cover it off. We've got the Australian Player Watch, of course, as per usual. We've got the pick and previews for all of the games tomorrow as well, which will be fun. But yes, it's a chocker show. It's a fun time right now. We've got like a month to go in the NBA. Exciting time, so let's get into it. Episode 1222. That's right, 1222 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Mick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better, or at least you better watch out for the attack of the NBA in Australia. How good is this? That's right, we'll start there with the daily whip around. The NBA is coming to Australia, and more specifically Melbourne, in October this year, as the New Orleans Pelicans will be visiting to play the Melbourne Uniteds. That's right, Melbourne United on October 3 and the Southeast Melbourne Magic Phoenix on October 5 at Rod Laver. This is going to be awesome. I am stoked. I can't believe it's actually finally happening. Look, if you're of my vintage, right, it's pretty remarkable the way that the world works and like the way the time works, of course. It's 2025. I get it. We're all old. But the thing is, if you cast your mind back, like to follow the NBA when you're, a youngin' in the olden days, it was difficult, right? We get snippets on sports tonight. We had NBA action on Saturday mornings and stuff like that. Oh, man, remember a bit of Steve Carfino? Anyway, so much sort of went into like being an NBA fan then. Like we'd read Pro Basketball Today, the old newspaper, One-on-One magazine, of course. The hallowed Bible of basketball in Australia. And then the internet comes along and makes it a lot easier. In mid-thousands, you're laughing, we actually get league pass, all this sort of stuff. But for an NBA team to actually come here to play games that kind of, are interesting, it's like during round 3 of the NBL, so it's going to be absolute hoops. The Pelicans play United on October 3, Phoenix October 5. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Who's coming with me? That's what I want to know. We're going to get tickets. We're going to get tins. It's going to be unreal. We'll call some havoc. No, we won't. We'll have a good time, won't we? I can't wait for this. It did get put to me, though. So, hey, Jim, who's actually going to come? What happens if they trade Zion? Well, it'll sort of suck. CJ McCollum, always up for a trade, basically. But, I mean, the Pelicans are a fun young team. They just got absolutely sideswiped by injuries this year, of course. And if Zion will be one of the biggest names on the trade market this offseason, but David Griffin, their GM, president of basketball ops, etc., was out for the announcement today with Larry and the NBL and Gazy out there in the shining sun in Melbourne, announcing this partnership of NBL, NBA. And David Griffin's like, yeah, we're going to be out. This will be part of training camp. We're going to have our full roster available with us there, and everybody will be there. And you're like, cool, this is awesome. whether or not they trade Zion before that happens is up in the air. But, I mean, that's something for us to figure out in July, isn't it? So, either way, can't wait for this. NBA in Australia, you little beauty, I reckon. And, I mean, just think about this. Like, kids who get to go to this, like, you think about you when you're a kid. The chances of seeing an actual NBA team in Australia, just, it blows your mind. That kids, like, I'll be taking the squid with me probably, if I get tickets, if I'm lucky enough. And, I mean, for him to be like watching an NBA game, what is he, 6? Like, it's chaos. It's awesome. I mean, I still remember my first NBA games that I got to over in the States and like just being like overcome with like a bit of like just getting emotional. Like, this is incredible. And I still love basketball, obviously, more than bloody ever. But like those moments are special and it's really cool the NBA gets to do that in Australia. So that'll be nice. Hey, do you want to do some other news before you get too teary there, Jim? Oh, gee willikers, mister. Extreme Zinger Meal, oh no!
Extreme Zinger Meal.
I've been dealing with some viral illness that we haven't been able to fully identify yet. I am recovering and getting better, but still working my way back to full strength to help team. Thanks for support and I'm hoping for healthy return soon. Hang on. The Zinger has got an unidentified viral illness. Ah, get back! I don't want no more cocoa! Get out of here, Zinger! Be supercharged.
Supercharged Zinger Burger.
I mean, I don't know, the Latvian Rudy Gobert, anybody? Just don't touch any microphones. No, look, to be honest, hopefully he just gets healthy soon or whatever, because the Celtics, it's such a weird season this year. You're watching Cleveland, and OKC run rampant, and Boston sort of have like games like they did today against the Jazz, where it just goes a bit wonky and weird, but they're still dominant at times, obviously. But you just want them fully healthy coming into the playoffs, and I just want the Zinger to be out there. He's just a funky, weird dude to watch play hoops. So get out there. The other big injury news, of course, is Josh Giddey. Giddy up! The mopped-up Mamba went off today. He was on 29 points, too shy of his career high, of course. He had 21 in the first half. It was absolutely shredding. And came down weird on his ankle. And it looked bad. He looked really, really in pain. He sort of limped off. He's punching stuff on the way out. But then they asked Kobe White, his teammate on the erstwhile Chicago Bulls, and he was like, yeah, look, we asked him after the game. He said he was cool. He's a tough guy. He's got that Australian toughness in him. He'll be all right. Which to me just sounds like Kobe White went, hey, Josh, are you okay? And Gids just went, yeah, mate, she'll be right. She'll be right. Got a giant amount of ice over his ankle. She'll be right. She'll be right. On your kids. But this sucks because, I mean, any sort of like injury to your ankle, especially with Josh Giddey, he's had ankle problems here and there with that one before. So hopefully nothing recurs. Hopefully it's just like a minor tweak. And he's able to get it back out there soon because he is on the heater to break down all heaters. He's playing so well. As I said, he had 21 points in the first half today. He had another double-double. I posted his stats about like post All-Star and like basically since for the last month. He's averaging basically 28 and 9. And post All-Star, it's like 22 and a half and 11 and 9. He's absolutely carving it up. And he's in a contract year. We talked about his contract status quite literally on yesterday's show. What do you think he could sort of get? What could he command on the open market? And boom, a tweaked ankle. It just sucks. So I think his body of work is such that it's probably not going to impact that too much. But it just, the runway for the last month of the season for Josh Giddey was so open and just like, have at it, Gids. Cause all sorts of havoc. And he'd be like, yeah, she'll be right. And he would have. So fingers crossed it's only like, a 1 or 2 sort of game thing. He doesn't miss too much time and can get back out there and show him what he's made of. On you, Gids. The mop-top Mamba. Amen Thompson, speaking of injury news and ankles, this was a left ankle sprain for Amen Thompson, which is great news for Houston because it looked pretty bad. He looked like he was in a lot of pain when he went off the other day. That's 10 to 14 days I think it was listed as, so fingers crossed Amen Thompson's all good because that Houston team, talk about teams you just want healthy going into the playoffs. Houston just, it's very similar to Boston where it's just like in and outs, just non-stop. Doesn't matter what day it is, it's just like, who's not playing today? Memphis is very similar too, right? So, anyway, outside of this, other little bits and bobs, Mo Bamba signed a 10-day with the Pelicans. Sure. KD, there was a bit of chatter about the trade stuff and like what a return would look like for Phoenix if they did bite the bullet and trade Kevin Durant this offseason. And I loved it because they're like, yeah, It'd be 3 first-round picks and a young player. Oh, yeah? Yeah, that's... I mean, sure. That's... We all want things, and we don't all get things, right? So, Kevin Durant, 3 firsts and a young player. I don't know what teams are going to give that up for a bloke who will be, 37 before the start of next season. So, yeah. Good luck with that, Phoenix. We're all rooting for you. Kind of. And then finally, players of the week were announced. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averaged a lazy 44 points, 5 rebounds, 6.7 assists. They went 4-0 that week too. They did lose today. Trae Young, 24.5 points as well, 13 assists. He was the player of the week for the East. Nice. Right, let's do some game wraps really quickly because we've got a lot of them. Game wraps. Philly and Atlanta played and no one actually really played apart from Dyson Daniels. 132, the Hawks beat the Sixers. There was no Embiid, Maxey, Trae Young, Paul George, Jalen Johnson, Kelly Oubre, or Karis LeVert. They started Jared Butler, Lonnie Walker, who wasn't in the league until 3 weeks ago. Q Grimes, Justin Edwards, and Yabu did the Sixers. And for the Hawks, it was our man Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief, a.k.a. the Bendigo Bandit, Keaton Wallace, Zachary Rissache, Muhammad Gay, Mo Gay as they call him, and Onyeka Okongwu. Not exactly a murderer's rope. And Atlanta just were too good for most of the game. Philly made a little bit of a run at the end, but who cares? Whatever. It ended up as a bit of a curb stomping, and it was a bit of a scare down the stretch as the Sixers scored 43 points in the fourth quarter, but still, whatever. Sixers 22 and 42. And the Hawks now 31 and 34, only 3 games under 500. They won 3 on the trot. They're in the 7 seed right now, so they're feeling pretty good and putting a little bit of distance between themselves and the Magic, so very nice. The Yaz put up a fight at the end of that one against the Celtics. This game was insane. 114-108, Boston win it. Sam Hauser hit 7 threes in the third quarter. It was incredible, right? This game was OVE. Over. Dude, it was so over, kid. 23-point lead in the early stages of the fourth quarter. Utah went on a 34-11 run to tie up the game. It was incredible. Hauser hits another 3 after a Jaylen Brown just yam on Walker Kessler, and it was all over. But still, this is what I was talking about in yesterday's show, right? These weird flushes from the Celtics, they get more and more worrisome. But by the same token, when it's Bryce Sensabaugh crushing you, it's how upset are we really? When you basically are out there with Holiday, White, and Brown, you're giving Tatum and Horford the day off, right? So it's probably fine. Probably. You still got the win. Boston are now 47 and 18. Utah dropped to 15 and 50. Yeesh. The Lakers dropped the game to the Brooklyn Nets. Oh boy.
The Lakers stink!
22-12 and 12 for Luka Doncic. It was not enough because he couldn't hit a shot. And the Nets just sort of outworked them. Obviously, no LeBron now that he's out for a couple of weeks for the Lakers. Luka shot 8 of 26. Go B! 3 of 10 from downtown. So, yeah, anytime you can score 22 points on 26 shots, you've got to block. Austin Reeves couldn't hit a shot either. The Nets just did enough. Noah Clowney was good. Cam Johnson had a pretty sick dunk on there. Keon Johnson was fine. Whatever. That's just we're at the end of the road trip. This stinks. Los Angeles dropped to 40 and 23. This might be a bit of a indicator as well because they've now dropped a full game back behind the Nuggets in the 2 spot. Without LeBron, they'll have to keep their heads above water, right? So they're 40 and 23, essentially ahead on percentage of the Grizzlies in the 4 spot. So they're in the 3, and there's not much space between basically the 2 through 5 in the West, where the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, and the Rockets are separated basically by 2 games. So interesting stuff for the Lakers for the stretch. And Brooklyn, that was a dumb win because they're now 22 and 42, tied with the Sixers. I think that means they're 6 and 7 in the Tankathon race. So gross. What are you doing, Brooklyn? Charlotte beat Miami. Oh, jeez. What are you doing, Miami? This is an absolute Barry Crocker shocker. The Hornets got 35 points from Miles Bridges, that piece of crap. But Bam missed a wide open 3 that would have tied it up. And Heat lose 105-102. Just, they're a horror show sometimes. He had 23-14-8, but still. Hornets 16-48. Heat 29-35. They're in the 9 spot. This is a disaster. The Heat falling apart at the exact worst point. They're 15-15 at home. They look gross. They've lost 4 on the trot. They can't score late. Don't know what's going on. To get run over by the Hornets is just embarrassing. Flat out embarrassing. It's embarrassing. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it's horrible.
This is horrible. There's no other way to put it.
Hey, the Raptors beat the Wizards in Toronto 119-104. Sure. This, again, a tank job. Who cares? 22-43 now, the Raptors. AJ Lawson had 32, so that's kind of nice. After not being able to hit a shot over the weekend. 13-50 for the Wiz. The Pacers and the Bulls, as mentioned, Josh Giddey, the 29-10, but then hurts his ankle and leaves. They're 27-38 now, the Bulls. Pacers, no Tyrese Halliburton again. And they just did not have the straw that stirs the drink, right? And that was the fear when I talked about this on yesterday's show. If there's no Halliburton, like if they're not at full strength, the Pacers just sort of are not good. Right? Like the Grizzlies are really good at the adaptability thing of just like, who's not playing today? Cool, we'll figure it out. Other teams are good like that. The Pacers are not. So, yeah, they're 35-28. The race in the East, as I mentioned on yesterday's show, right? Like, you can't be dropping games to the Bulls. They've now lost 3 on the trot and they just look a bit janky, but that's it. Halliburton's missed all 3 of those games. So, here we are. The Magic came up very, very, very short against the Rockets, 84-97. Just you can't be scoring 84 points in a game of NBA basketball in 2025. They got 25 from Bada Bancaro and Franz Wagner had 15 on 17 shots. Nobody else got in double figures because they all stink. Just imagine if they'd listened to Jim and gotten a bloody point guard, just saying. The Rockets, Jabari Smith took it personally. Remember, they're the ones who took Paolo Banchero over him in the draft a couple of years ago. He had 20-7. Jock got out there for a little bit of run as well, which is always good. But that's a good win for the Rockets. They're 40-25. The Magic, 30-36, and just they're still in the 8th spot. It's a big win, really, for Atlanta because just put them clear. The Grizzlies outlasted the Suns down the stretch. They outlasted Kevin Durant's 35 and just 7-9 from downtown. Ja Morant was just doing circus shit in this one. It was awesome. 29-12 for him. They win at 121-18. Couldn't quite put them away. It's one of those things in the back of your mind when the Grizzlies play these games. You're like, without Triple J, this is a great win. I picked the Suns to cover. They did. But wow. Suns have got to win that game. They're 30-35. If you want to make the play-in with Dallas got the win today, they're now 2.5 games still clear of Dallas. Behind them, right, in the standings in 11, so it's brutal. Whereas the Grizz, that's found money, 41-24. The Nuggets absolutely rolled the Thunder. This game was sick, 141-27. Joker, 35-18-8. It was unreal. Dort had 26. The entire setup, though, was like, it just never felt like the Thunder got on really on top, like especially in the second half. Denver just sort of arm wrestled them out of the game. SJ ended up with only 14 shots and 25 points. Chet couldn't do much. He shot a magic number, which was awesome of him. But I don't know, between Dort having 26, 20 for Isaiah Hartenstein, and J-Dub only managing 12, bit of a weird one for the Thunder. But the Nuggets just shot the piss out of it. They shot 60% from the floor and 56% from 3. They were just really bloody good. They got everything from everyone. Peyton Watson was found money, so yeah. Russell Westbrook hit 3 threes. It just doesn't happen all the time. It's a big win for the Nugs. They're 42-23. OKC 53-12. Mavs beat the Spurs 133-129. Hilarious. 28 for Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench. Harrison Barnes 29 for the Spurs. But yeah, they just sort of like kept them at arm's length with like 7 dudes, which was really impressive. Great job by the Mavs. They're 33-33, as I mentioned. They're still in the 10 spot in the West, keeping the Suns behind them. The Spurs falling off the pace now, 26-37. The Blazers fell short against the Warriors, 121-30. Denny Avdija, my beloved Denny Avdija, 34-16-6. He was unreal. But this was the Steph Curry's going for 4,000 threes. He needs 7, and he got to 5. Anthony Penny-Simons was awesome with 32. Jimmy Butler had his first triple-double as a Warrior, 15, 10, and 10. Steph ends up with 24, but it was really the Gary Payton, the second show. He had 26, I think, which is a career high. Awesome, fun game, back and forth. And then finally, the Knicks just curb stomped the Kings, 133-104. Jalen Brunson, overrated? Question mark. 41-23 now for the Knicks. The Kings, it's a tough loss, 33-31. That leaves them back down in 9 in the West, which is a bit of a rough one, I'll tell you. But the Knicks just didn't lose a beat without your man's Jalen Brunson, because Josh Hart had 18, 6 and 3, 21-7 for Miles McBride, 26, 9 and 3 for Cat, 24 for the OG Anunoby. And they just clamped the Kings, who shot 41% from the floor and only 29% from three. So, big day. Who was the best performer, Jim? Who do you reckon? What do you reckon? Who do you think was actually out there? Oh, geez, I'll tell you. There's a couple of good ones.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Oh, boy. Nikola Jokic. He's pretty good still. 35, 18, and 8. Boo, jeez. But the way he controlled that game was awesome. He went 15 of 20 from the floor. And every time there's like just these weird little mini OKC runs. Like, we're back in it. He's like, nah, get the point in the paint and flip up and in. And you're like, yep, that checks out. Honorable mention obviously goes to Kevin Durant versus Memphis, 35 on 7 and 9 from downtown. Ja Morant had an awesome game as well, the 29 points, 12 assists. Danny Avdija with the 34 points and 16 rebounds. He's awesome. I love him. Q Grimes with 35 for the Sixers as well. Sam Hauser, though, the flamethrower, 9 of 19 from downtown for his 33 points. Just call him the new Larry Bird.
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. We had plenty of Spuds out there today. 1 of 9 for Jalen Wells, 1 of 7 for AJ Johnson. Clell Wergo's 1 of 6. But some big names as well really struggled from the floor, right? So you had 5 of 21 for LaMelo. Jesus. That is just, what are you doing? 5 of 19 for Alexander Sarr. Tari Eason goes 3 of 12. 3 of 14 for Austin Reeves, as I mentioned. 2 of 11 for Bub Carrington. But wow. We actually had a couple of blokes actually step up and shoot a very happy number, because I'd like to thank you, Chet Holmgren and Keaton Wallace. What did they shoot, Jim? What do they shoot from the floor? And Peyton Pritchard? Oh my God, the triumvirate! They went and shot. Oh, he's pressed the wrong button. Woo! Chill. And Derek White hit 311 from 3. You beauty. It's a 311-a-thon. I love that. Absolutely gnarly. Who was Old Mate No Mates today?
Old mate, no mate.
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 Who's got no mates today? Isaiah Thomas, a.k.a. the old one from the Pistons. He was not in the Boston documentary because he got stitched up, he reckoned, by the Last Dance. So he said, I decided to not do the Boston documentary because of what Jordan in the Last Dance did. Thomas cried. He was on the Sirius XM radio show. They totally set me up and blindsided me, and I wasn't going to get fooled twice, so I just decided not to participate in the documentary and be able to talk about it. But I wasn't going to go on film and sit there and be set up and potentially be set up again like I was set up in the Last Dance. Cry more, Isaiah Thomas. The bad boy Pistons, more like the fucking crybaby Pistons. Jesus. Have a fucking sook, mate. I do want to add, he does go, and then this guy comes on television, he says that he hates me, and then he calls me an a-hole. Then I proceed to watch a whole documentary about him being an a-hole. I'm like, wait a minute, time out. Until I get a public apology, this beef is going to go on for a long, long time, because I'm from the west side of Chicago. Does being from the west side of Chicago make you a fucking whiny bitch, Isaiah Thomas? Jesus. Oh, I didn't want to go on the Boston documentary because I got stitched up last time. Fucking cry more. Jesus. Anyway, pantsing of the night. Me on Isaiah Thomas, apparently. But Derek White got Walker Kessler absolutely falling over. And so it's out on the perimeter, makes him dance, and he falls over the big fella. And nails a 3, which is the important part of the pantsing, right? Then Jaylen Brown, actually, this is the double pantsing, the very rare double pantsing, yammed on him as well, basically to seal the game. With less than 2 minutes left. Jamal Shed just fucking pantsed everybody in the Wizards with that sick putback dunk as well. I hope you saw that today. That was very cool. And a self-pantsing. Bam Adebayo with that aforementioned game-tying air ball 3 with 5 seconds left against the Hornets. I don't know if Terry Rozier has gotten everybody on the Heat involved about betting their own unders and betting against themselves, but I'm not betting against that right now because they're playing fucking horrible. It's like Terry Rozier, boys. I don't know, just follow my lead, boys. Better than Brodie James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. One of my favorite moments today was Cam Spencer. That's right. Who's that, Jim? Well, number 24 for the Memphis Grizzlies. The white guy talking shit to Kevin Durant today. What the fuck? How are the balls on this dude? He also looks like the most punchable fucking guy outside of like basically Grayson Allen. He's got like the fucking absolute high school bully vibes about him, Cam Spencer. But was awesome today. 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, shot 4 of 7 from downtown, 5 of 9 from the floor, and talk shit to Kevin Durant in his face. So fuck you all, man. It was certainly something. All right. Let's do some ENRs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Giddey.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do some yeah-nahs. Dave B. I like this one. Send in the email. Hey, Jimmy, loving the new show format. Thank you. Trying to speed this all up for you. Overtime shouldn't be played in regular season games. Season is long enough anyway, as we know, and would make the ladder more interesting with teams splitting points. Cheers, Dave. Yeah, nah. Oh, I kind of fucking don't mind this. Because I think it's the last point there that Dave makes that's the important one. It would make the standings substantially more intriguing, wouldn't it? If you've suddenly got ties in there and shit like that. You think about like soccer standings and everything, right? So it always gets a bit weird, a bit janky. And especially, I mean, even with footy, like AFL stuff, when you've got a couple of ties in there and draws and shit, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? There's like extra points floating around. But yeah, I guess the problem is, when you throw those totals in, it becomes a lot like hockey as well, I guess, because the way their standings are built, you've got the overtime losses and shit like that in there too. But I actually don't mind the idea of like overtime just shouldn't be played in regular seasons and games. It's just like, we always talk about like the Elam ending, which is the nerd ending. Fuck that. I kind of think if it's tied, just like fucking next score wins as like regular, or we ball it up and next score wins or some shit. Like first team to like win by 2. Or get up by 3, whatever, wins the game. I kind of like that. That'd fucking get intense. So, yeah, that's a great idea by Davey B. On you. What about Zachy B? He writes in as well. Yeah, will the Cavs have their first bad shooting night once the playoffs start? Mind-blowing how efficient they are every game. Yeah, well, it's funny that Zachy B wrote this one in because, like, yesterday, I reckon, the game that they nearly blew, but instead end up with, like, their 14th straight win. I think it was like Garland. So they beat Milwaukee yesterday pretty handily in the end by 12. 112-100. And this was the one that was going on as we were taping yesterday's show. I then went down to the beach with the boyos. That was awesome. Jumped in the pool for the rest of the afternoon. Fucking amazing. Beautiful down there in Lawn over the weekend. It's like the hottest it's ever been. I reckon, like, been going down there for fucking 30 years. And, yeah. It's like insane how nice it was. Anyway, they had a bad shooting game yesterday. Garland and Mitchell went 4 of 13 and 4 of 15 respectively. What's that? 8 of 28. And like 2 of 15 from downtown. And they still fucking managed to beat the piss out of the Bucks. Like, that's kind of the thing. They just sort of fill in the gaps everywhere else where like everyone off the bench is like hitting shots like Ty Jerome, Sam Merrill and co. They're just sort of doing their job. DeAndre Hannah. And like to basically stop everybody else on that Bucks team the way they did, it's crazy. But like for them to sort of go, oh, we had a bit of a shit shooting day and we still beat the fucking shit out of like the 3rd or 4th best team in the East. That's terrifying. The Cavs are absolutely fucking jit. If the 54-10 didn't already tell you that, right? But wow, they were good in that game. But yeah, it's a good point by Zachy B. Look, I think they're talented enough and well drilled enough that, yeah, they have a bad shooting night against the Bucks and they still fucking win. If they have a bad shooting night in the playoffs, I think they're just that consistent, as he points out, Zachy B, that they're probably still going to be fine in the long run. Like, it feels Eastern Conference Finals or bust for this Cavs team, right? They are the one seed. They're 54 and fucking 10, as I just said. And finally, how is that a disaster of a loss for the Miami Heat, Jim? Yeah, nah, yes. Because it now puts them firmly in the 9 spot in the East, right? So they're just behind the Magic on percentage, but they are still 1 win behind the Magic. And both teams are 3-7 their last 10. The Magic's defense is substantially better than the Heat. The Heat just can't score, especially in fourth quarters. It's crazy because their defense falls off a cliff and they can't score. If I'm the Heat, you can't be in the 9-10. Like, you don't want to risk that because then you're sort of stuck in this like 1-8 matchup. Even if you do win through the 9-10 and then beat whoever you face in the 7-8 matchup, right? You'd be then in a 1-8 fucking dogfight. The Heat, yeah, they might be cooked. There is a month to go. If they get Tyler Hero flying again, they're probably okay. But jeez, you can't be losing to Charlotte, even in fucking March 11. Anyway, what about a bit of an unpopular opinion of the day?
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look, I know I yelled about how good this is for the NBA coming to Australia, but of all the teams, right? Did we all think that? We all thought that, what didn't we? We're like, New Orleans, okay, sure. The storied, hallowed franchise of the New Orleans Pelicans. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, and it's not exactly going to get like casuals in off the street, right? But it is only 2 games at Rod Laver. Like, that's your sort of fucking, you're going to sell it out anyway. So, yeah, the unpopular opinion of the day is like, yeah, they probably could have gotten away with like the Pelicans. So, but we're not going to fucking look at gift horse in the mouth, are we? What did I say the other day? Punch a gift horse in the head. That was a good one. Nah. Look, New Orleans, though, if they still have Zion and those wings, they'll be fucking electric. So it'll be still fun. And this is the thing that I always yell about, right? Like, there is so much fucking talent in the NBA right now. You can send someone like the Pelicans, who are, fucking 17 and 48 this season, to Australia, and it will still be a guaranteed good time. So, yeah. Anyway, the unpopular opinion is, like, how many fans do they have in Australia? 7? I don't know. Even if it was like the Hornets, at least we could all wear fucking cool Hornets. I've got like 8 fucking Hornets hats, man. I love the Hornets. I love that logo. Anyway, Outback Takehouse finally. It's Tuesday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yeah. Well, took the squids to daycare and school this morning for the old drop-offs, and it's a bit bloody hot out. Made the magpies pretty easy to whomp with cricket bats, I'll tell you that much. So, that's today's special. That's right, magpie wings. Only at Outback. They're like chicken wings, but a lot bonier. And not at all tasty. And they're only at Outback. And today's Flame Grill take is, having watched Denver and OKC play back-to-back games, I don't know. I kind of don't mind Denver in a 7-game series. Only at Outback. I'm just saying, keep a fucking eye on that team. Denver, the way they sort of got steamrolled the other day was a bit worrisome. But the way that they sort of held SGA a little bit more and just got the ball out of his hand a lot quicker. Jerm and Jamal was out of his mind in this game. They look scary. And like in a 7-game series when you've got Jokic, like you're just fucking scary, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's keep an eye on it. We've got 1 month to go as we watch these seedings play out. If I'm OKC, I do not want to fucking see Denver until the Western Conference Finals. All right, quick break. Then we're back with Australian Player Watch after this.
This is Matthew Delvedova, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, Australian Player Watch. Speaking of Delhi, who's coming to the United Hawks game tomorrow? The NBL Finals game too. It's going to be a cracker. I'm going. So if you see a ginger bearded dipshit wandering around, it's probably me. I had a guess. Anyway, Australians today, we're Josh Giddey up in that win over Indy, 121-103. He had 29 points, 21 in the first half, then obviously goes off injured. He finishes with 10 rebounds, 4 assists and a block as well to go 3 turnovers. Shot 11 of 18 from the floor, 2 of 5 from downtown and 5 of 5 from the free throw line. This is what I'm talking about. He's been on such a goddamn heater. Watching him get injured and hurt his fucking ankle just breaks your heart. You're like, dude, he's been the best ball of his career, has looked absolutely incredible. That sucks. I fucking hate injuries. Dyson Daniels, the Bendigo Bandit, 25 points, 6 rebounds and 7 assists to go with 2 steals, bringing him to 180 for the season, which is insane. It's the most amount of steals in a season since Ricky Tiki Tata Rubio did it like 13-14. I think he had 181 or something. And Dyson's played like 60 games. So, yes, he is the vacuum. Josh Green. Oh, he also shot the piss out of today. 10 of 14 from the floor. 4 or 5 from free throws as well. 1 or 2 from downtown. Greeny had 3 points in that win over Miami. He had 1 of 4 from the floor. 1 of 3 from 3 for free. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block, though. Filled it up everywhere else. Johnny Faffy. That's right. Johnny Tins in that same game against Gids. He played 18 minutes. He had 4 points, went 0 of 3 from downtown, 2 of 5 from the line, from the floor, but had 8 rebounds and 3 steals. He was a +2 in 18 minutes in a game that they lost by 18. Johnny Furphy. That is awesome. Jock Landale got out for 2.2 minutes against Orlando as well. 1 rebound, 1 foul there. Dante Exum against San Antonio in that big win. He started, played 24 minutes. He had 10 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a turnover. He had a lot of fouls. It was like 5 fouls. It's like, dude, just get off Dante's case. Just let him play. They've got like no players left. Stop fucking calling fouls on Dante. And then finally, do-up, bop, bop, do-up, bop, do-up. Do-up Reef, 15 minutes against the Warriors. 1 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 4 from downtown. 2 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Tough one for our man. Still no Aussie Matty T, which is a shame, but either way. Really quick, Andrew Gaze Graham Umber Award and an outstanding achievement in the field of excellence and a Shane Hill shoot your shot, light 'em up award.
Andrew Gaze Grey Mumba.
Outstanding achievement here. He threw it down. Are you healed? Are you healed? Praise the Lord, I'm healed.
Praise the Lord, for I'm healed. It is the Shane Hill
Shooters shoot.
Shoot Your Shot, Light 'em Up Award.
All right, I got 3 awesome ones here. Like Najee Marshall, actually, on the weekend, right? 34, 10, and 9. So he had 34 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. There's a list of Mavericks who have had 34, 10, and 9 in a game. Najee Marshall joins that list. Jason Kidd did it once in 1995. Dirk Nowitzki did it in 2010. And Luka Doncic did it 41 times! He averaged that last year. Just imagine trading that guy, Nico. Jesus. Anyway. Also, as a bit of a shoot and excellence, Ja Morant was 8 of 8 on 2s today, as well as 10 of 10 at the free throw line. It's the 10th game in NBA history where someone's gone perfect from 2s and free throws with a minimum of 8 attempts of each. Like, the rest of the list is crazy too. It's like the most fun old-timey names. It's like Jordan Jeremy Clarkson, Jam and Jamal Murray, Pau Gasol, Shannon Anderson, hell yeah, Clyde Drexler, Vern Fleming, Chris Mullin, Charles Barkley, and Kelly Tripucka. Hell yeah! That's a hell of a list, Ja Morant. Love that. And then, of course, we've got a bunch of Shane Hill shoot your shot, light 'em up award. Steph Curry. So he's 2 threes away from 4,000 for his career. He's also now hit 250 threes for the season, which is the 11th season in which he's done that. Very clearly, that's the most in NBA history. It's just fucking absurd at this point. But yeah, he's got 3,998 career threes. 2 away from 4,000. Absolutely absurd. All right, Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Let's do it. Yeah, where's Jock? Yeah, Jock was putting a lot of stuff up. Yeehaw! He's walking into the game wearing a bloody cowboy hat. It's a black cowboy hat. He's got black pants, a white shirt. He needs to work on his shoes. I'm no like fashion expert, but I feel like his shoes could use some work. Anyway, Uncle Yef, hot from 3. Jock wiping him down today as well. It's pretty good. Dante's also posted, return to sender. Dante gets it. Oh, he sends it back up to power, doesn't he? Yeah, it was a sick one. Beautiful. Lays it up and in. Very nice from Dante. All right, we've only got a couple of games tomorrow, so that means programming note, right? So before we get into it, remember, go follow all the vibes over at Dabble. All the daily picks are there. A couple of multis as well. Our best same game multi each day is in there. We've got the big mega multi of all the games that we pick each day. So go sign up using the link in the show description below. Hey, if you signed up before last week, just saying, if you want to delete that and like redo it with this link, it'd help your mate Jim out. Just saying. So jump in the show description for the link that'll take you to Dabble. Use the code NBA Straya. Tell them Jim sent you. And you can track all these picks all through the rest of the season. We're doing really, really well. Just saying. So we're traveling at over 60% for the season. UBOT. Tomorrow, we've got some interesting games as well. Which also means, but the thing is, I'm going to be at the Sport NXT conference tomorrow. So I will do a quick show early, which will be power rankings, because there's only 4 games tomorrow, right? We've got the Wizards and Pistons, which is a 15.5 point line for the Pistons. And we're taking Detroit, because Washington were just fucking abysmal today. And Detroit are good, and they're at home. Cleveland are against Brooklyn tomorrow. That's an 18.5 point line. I might even take Brooklyn, though, on a back-to-back, on the road, in Cleveland. I feel 18.5 is just a little bit too much for this team. Maybe. Bit weird. What happened to my voice? And that was weird. Bit weird. Bucks Pacers. That's a 3.5 point line. This is the really awesome game tomorrow. Bucks Pacers. But if the Pacers don't have Tyrese Halliburton, they're cooked anyway. So I'm going to go the Bucks in that one, minus 3.5. And then the Clippers Pelicans. It's an interesting one, which is 6.5 in favor of the Clippers. I might take the Pelicans plus 6.5 in that one. I think the Clippers win that, but without Norm, they've look, they got by yesterday on a Kawhi Leonard game winner. Just that dropped in. That just gave like every Sixers fan fucking PTSD. But in New Orleans, I like the Pels. Just I don't mind their chances of covering there. So with those 4 games tomorrow, what we'll do is tomorrow morning before I head off to the conference, I'll do a power ranking show and maybe a quick standings check-in at least, just to set you up as a bit of a midweek. Oh yeah, this is where we sort of stand. Because these games, I mean, Cleveland's already clearly won. Brooklyn are out of it. Washington's out of it. Detroit's locked into basically 6. Milwaukee, Indy's the only one that really sort of matters. And if Indy don't have Tyrese Halliburton, I expect Milwaukee to smash them. Clippers, Pelicans, pretty fun, but the Pelicans are out of it too. So I feel like that's a pretty good day for me just to tape something prior to the games, or at least while they're going, and then just chuck it up. So we'll do power rankings and standings check-in tomorrow, and that'll be it. Then I'll piss off to the Sport NXT conference. So if you're there, I'll be all corporate jib. Just saying. All right, and that's it for today. So in the meantime, make sure you are following NBA Straya across all of the socials as well. Twitter, Facey, IG, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. We're all there. Get around NFL Australia as well. Myself and Gaz will have... Off-season is going absolutely fucking mental in the NFL, so we'll do a show about that, wrapping it all up. Check us a rating review for those shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you're using the Android phone. It does help out heaps, so get right around it. Get around from Oslo, House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, iOS, Textron, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show, so smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth, Facey, Apple Music, Spotify. However you follow or listen to your bands, do so. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. Righto, that'll do us. Good fun show today, and as mentioned, tomorrow we'll have a quick one for power rankings and standings check-in, and then get out of here. And there's like an interesting NBL, NBA sort of crossover thing tomorrow, which will be fascinating, so I can't wait to go check that out. And then I'll be actually at the NBL finals game tomorrow night, so if you're there, come say good day. But what a day. The NBA is coming to Australia. Hopefully NBA Australia can be the official fucking, I don't know, shit-talking podcast partner of it. I don't know. Someone put me forward. All right. We'll catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And let a hose